The coldest air mass of the season is on the way for Sunday coming into Monday as the jet stream buckles essentially east of the Continental Divide. That will bring some of the colder anomalies down to the deep south and a snow swath for some and a freeze all the way into the southeast coming up Monday and especially heading into Tuesday. So here's the overall setup over the next 5 days because we still are going to be plenty warm. This is Tuesday. So for the next 5 days, we'll have those warmer temperature anomalies, not just for the western U.S., but for much of the central, southern, and upper plains as well. Those temperatures will easily be 10 to 15 degrees above average, but all things change big time as we head into Saturday, as the ridge of high pressure will be likely backing up out west. That will allow that jet stream to dip further south and bring some of that colder air down essentially east of the Rocky Mountains. And that will bring some of the coldest anomalies we have seen so far this season. And before that, we'll have that south and southwest wind that will bring back some moisture. That's these elevated water vapor imagery will essentially moisten up this atmosphere out ahead of this cold blast. That will set the stage for create the lift mechanism that's needed to create the snow showers that's going to be bringing that swath of snow, especially as we head into Sunday and that Monday time frame. But there's the colder air as we head into that Sunday morning coming up on November the 9th. Yeah, this is the coldest we've seen so far for November in fall. And those temperatures, you're going to be feeling it in a big way as they'll be plunging southbound. And all these areas further north will be below freezing as we head into Sunday morning. We've got widespread teens in the Dakotas, 23 further south in Nebraska. We'll checking in with freezing mark down into northern areas of Kansas. Hard freeze coming up for Iowa coming up on Sunday morning. And that freezing line will sneak into Illinois, areas of Missouri, but it'll also be snowing in some of these areas as well at the same time as the continued plunge southbound into the 40s in Oklahoma City and 50s there in Texas as the colder air will continue to drain south. And before that happens, we're going to be looking at that lift mechanism to create the snow showers heading in, starting, I think, late Saturday, but especially in the overnight going into Sunday morning. We'll have a snow swath that sets up shop across areas of Montana, back through areas of southern South Dakota, getting into northern Nebraska there, and especially there in Iowa could pick up some moderate snowfall. And then areas across portions of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, as we head into that Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning into the overnight time frame. And then going into Sunday morning, sneaking into the afternoon, we'll have the snow showers continuing for northern Indiana, areas of like Cleveland back in Ohio, and getting into the upper PA area, as well as areas of western PA. Should start to see some wet snowflakes into upper portions of New York. But you can see what happens on the backside. That is an indication of some Arctic air because it's dry air on the backside. So where you got that precipitation, it'll mainly areas across the Ohio Valley and pushed eastbound. Further in the central U.S., you still got that cold shot, but it'll be a dry cold shot and a windy cold shot as well as that Arctic high pressure continues to sink south, stopping somewhere in the vicinity in and along the Red River region. But those temperature anomalies are going to be plunging south as we head into Sunday afternoon. You've got easily 10 to 15. So instead of the 10 to 15 degrees above average, you're going to experience the next 4 or 5 days. Now we're completely the opposite of that, 10 to 15 degrees below average as those temperatures start to plunge in a big way, more or less clipping portions of Texas, but especially there into Oklahoma where the Arctic high stops around the Red River. And then the coldest anomalies will be highlighted over the Ohio Valley. And eventually we'll head into the southeast, and even Florida gets into the action, even with some 30s going into Tuesday morning. But yes, there's your afternoon temperatures for Sunday. It's going to be hard pressed to get out of the freezing mark further north into the Dakotas, back into Minnesota, areas of Nebraska, getting into Iowa. With that snow, that's going to keep the temperatures down all day long, and it's going to be hard pressed to get above that freezing mark as temperatures continue to move southbound back into the 30s for Sunday evening. This is around sunset time frame. You'll be hard pressed to be at 40 degrees there in Oklahoma City, back into the mid 40s for Arkansas, and then 54 there in Dallas, back into the 50s in central Mississippi, in Alabama. But heading into that Sunday night time frame, we'll have some sporadic snow showers left over that will impact areas of that western PA region, getting into upstate New York and back into areas of New England. There is the Arctic high pressure that will likely stop and put the brakes on back in towards the Red River, as the colder air won't sink too much further south than that. But you'll be feeling the winds on the backside as well, going to be cranking at 25, 30, if not some 35 mile per hour gust at times. Along with that cold air, that's a biting wind chill all the way down in the deep. You'll be probably in the 20s for, say, Dallas into Monday morning as far as wind chills are concerned, as the temperatures will continue to plunge southbound and then eventually shift eastward as we head into Monday afternoon. But there, as you wake up, in those feels like temperatures for Monday morning, this is your November the 10th time frame. Yes, this is more or less single, if not in the teens, for those areas, especially those areas that do in fact see that snow, and that snow on the ground, not out of the question. You could be feeling like in the single digits in some of those areas, back into the teens in Iowa, but feeling like into the 20s in Kansas, areas of Oklahoma, even into North Texas, feeling like in the 20s on Monday morning. That will shift into Arkansas, even in northern Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia will feel like freezing, and then actual freezing too of the colder air will sink further south. So areas for the southeast should in fact see their first freeze of the season, especially if they don't do it Monday, they'll definitely do it on Tuesday. But there's a snow swath. So in the beginning week, we'll have the colder air can plunge in from the Pacific Northwest, bring some higher elevation snows, and then starting on Saturday afternoon, we'll start to see that snow band likely take shape. And this has been fairly consistent as well with the snow swath back through northern and southern the Dakotas, as well as into a good part of Iowa, back into Illinois, getting into northern Illinois, back into Ohio, areas of, like, say, Cleveland, southern portions of Michigan, and then eventually heading up into portions of western PA, upstate New York. Should see a blanket of snow, and then some of those areas across the Appalachians could also see some 1 to 2 inch amounts with this air mass plunging south. But there on Tuesday morning, yes, I do in fact those temperatures back into the 30s. These are actual temperatures now for Tennessee, northern portions of Mississippi, getting into Alabama, Georgia. Those areas will likely see its first freeze of the season, no question. But look, even in the Florida Panhandle, you're talking mid to upper 30s. So this is a decent cold shot for November standards, as the colder air will continue to plunge eastbound heading into that 11th time frame. And then you'll have one more night on the 12th, as the colder air will still be locked into place, with those 30s sinking further south into Georgia, into the Carolinas, and back into northern portions of Florida. But you can see it moderates pretty big time. So they never really tap into the true cold air back into Texas. They get more of a glancing shot of it, and the temperatures will likely start to rebound in a big way starting on Wednesday, but especially into Thursday. It's a rapid warm up essentially as the ridge of high pressure comes back with a vengeance, and it just expands over the central US again. And we're back to where we started, where we are right now, essentially. So it's definitely a quick shot of air, if not, some areas last 2 days, some areas last 3 to 4 days. And then those areas across areas of the upper Midwest and portions of the mid-Atlantic will likely see their first snows of the season and end with the first freeze of the season coming up for areas of the Southeast. So guys, I appreciate you watching. Do like this video. Definitely hit the subscribe button and catch the next update while I protect you before and after the storm.